I'd like to call to order the Village of Landon Village Board meeting to order on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. And just a reminder to everyone to please silence your phones if you have not already done so. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Batiste.
Present.
Routinier.
Here.
Lake.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Summers.
Here.
Willard.
Here.
Yates present. Statement of public notice.
Been posted.
Thank you. Let's see. I think we're good now. All right. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on the reading, correction, and approval of the minutes from the 8/14/25 village board meeting. Did anyone have any corrections or comments regarding the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, committee reports, finance and personnel.
We will cover the finance under item number 20 later in the budget or in the agenda. And as far as personnel, we met and interviewed a candidate for a position for the police department, which will now be covered under item 10.
Thank you. Legislative.
Legislative action will be covered under agenda item number 13, for, an ordinance change.
Thank you. Parks, Rec, and Beautification.
I'd just like to remind everybody that the Hope and Healing Walk is on September 13th from 8 to 12 at the Village Park.
Thank you. Public Safety.
Nothing at this time.
Public Works, Recycling, and Sewer.
Multiple items, I believe, pertain to public works, 15, 16, 17, 18. In addition to those items, we did have the guys out doing work along Good Hope Road this past week. They did pothole patching, cleanup in the right of way. They're planning to do work on Bonnie Lane, pothole patching this week, today and tomorrow. The shouldering on Forest View is slotted for later this week, or next week if they don't get to it this week yet. The Bonnie Lane, they did the geotech previously. I could see that they did the borings out there and they patched the holes, so they cleaned it after themselves. The laugh and ribbon was still up. I assume we could probably take that down. Ben, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good question. I just wonder, I'll double check with them on that. I think you're right, but we just want to make sure we get GPS shots on where those were taken exactly.
Okay, and if that's fine, let me know and I can grab them.
Okay, we'll do.
Had some discussions with PLM about seal coating the lot here, as well as restripe and also striping a crosswalk between St. John's Church and St. John's School on Forest View Drive. So there's some conversations going on with that. The church has interest in doing that, and has expressed some interest in cost share. There was, on the sanitary side of things, a couple months ago, we did the vicious sewer inspection of the sanitary system. They did find some defects, one that is critical. And so we did get a proposal to that, and that is item 18 on the agenda, so we'll discuss that further. And then during the rain events that we had previously, the Landon Interceptor did overflow during those storms on some private property. Sussex did a fantastic job leading the follow-up efforts with that. They did some testing, determined that there was no detect in most of the samples. Some of the samples did have a very low detection on it, very safe. It was about 10% of what the safety threshold is for what's allowed in yards and gardens. So aside from all that, nothing further to report.
Great, thank you. Corey,
Nothing new.
thank you. Department reports, clerk's office.
Budget workshops, I have, scheduled with, our auditor Wendy, 9:22 and 10:06. They will be at 5:30 PM. I'll get the budget worksheets out by the end of this week, hopefully once I post the bills, and get those, spreadsheets updated. I will be attending, a virtual conference on the 18th and 19th of this month, and also an election conference at the end of the month.
Great, thank you, Brenda. And just a reminder, those budget hearings are open to the public if you care to attend. I encourage you to do so. Police department.
The activity summary has been posted to the website and the other item will be covered in item 10.
Great, thank you, chief. Response to item number 9, response to previous citizen comments, and I don't think I had any yet the last. Okay. Item number 9, citizen comments. This is meant for public comments on any subject without any discussion by board of trustee members or action except for the possible referral to a governmental body or village agent. I have one person on the sign-in sheet here, Mr. Summers.
Colleen had already mentioned the walk on Saturday. I would be beneficial to get as much of our village members there. Last year, I think there was close to 30 different groups there. There will be Narcan available again. I carry it in my car. I've used it already. But it's 4 years ago when this first started, I was involved in it. We had lost 2 business owners to suicide and 5 adult children to overdose, 3 of them due to fentanyl. And that was in a community of 900. Second thing is, I posted it on several groups, the Citizens Fire and EMS Academy that is put on by the Falls Fire Department. I went to the first one last Tuesday. We got a tour of Station 99 on Lilly and Appleton. That is a first-rate station. Our fire department is a big chunk of our budget. There was a lot of information there. Tomorrow night, we're doing CPR training. You will also get a certification. There will be vehicle extrication. Car will probably start on fire, smokehouse training. It's pretty in-depth. I was a volunteer 50+ years ago, and I think it's kind of cool. I think I didn't know this existed until about a year ago. But it's something that is open to all residents of Lannon and the Falls. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Any other citizen comments? Yes.
Janet Perry, 20071 Overstone Drive. Some years ago, I took a Waukesha County Police Citizens Academy, and then after that, a few years later, I took Menominee Falls, and I did call them. They do have them running. One has started, it's 10 weeks. It's really eye-opening and really interesting, and I plan to sign up the next time around. So just so everybody knows, that's available also.
Great, thank you. Any other citizen comments? Yes.
Hi, Dennis Shirkus, 19926 Overwood Sport. 2 items. One, I saw on Facebook that of the property that's being sold by the village, 110,000 it is. Am I glad to see that on Facebook? And so views on that, hopefully. I'm just wondering what the difference is between that we have on the budget for 54,000. And that's 110.
That would be that was the projected proceeds. So we have a basis cost invested in that property from when we bought it.
Which went on the budget, right? I mean, if you paid 50,000, that was already increased your budget by expenses by
Well,
50,000.
it's listed as an asset on the balance sheet rather.
Right now it would be, yes.
Yeah. Right. But the proceeds or the gain on the sale was projected to be 56.
Okay, so it's probably commission, sales commission and the property value.
Mhm.
So that buying that land never went hit the budget.
At some point, it hit as an expense, yes. Mhm.
So wouldn't we put the whole thing then on there?
No,
Oh. Okay, and the other item, that stormwater management plan, that's going to be paid next year. That was up to 85,000. Do we know what the exact amount is and when it is due?
Ben, that's the redo of the,
Yeah, that's the DNR mandated update to a village-wide stormwater quality management plan.
Right.
85,000, represents the village's cost share, which is 50% in the whole study. I don't have the exact number on hand, but 85 seems a few thousand high. I know that's what the village board approved, but I think the budget number that we came up with was a little bit less than that.
so that'll probably get fine tuned at the budget time. If it's available. Anything else, Dennis? No? Any other citizen comments? Oh, okay. All right, we will move forward then. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on hiring an officer for the police department. As was mentioned earlier in the Finance and Personnel Committee report, we did have a Finance and Personnel Committee meeting earlier. We met with a potential candidate to serve in a more specialized role with our department, and I'll let Chief Bell take it from here.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Paul Felician. In the way of education, he has a Juris Doctor from Marquette, a Master of Strategic Studies from the Army War College. He's a decorated colonel in the Army National Guard. Some of the things he's commanded include the COVID response operations during COVID for the entire state. He's also the director of the counter drug program. At the Milwaukee Police, he has 27 years of law enforcement experience. Rose to the rank of deputy inspector. The field deputy at night is the chief at night, basically. So that's a very prestigious role. He's commanded numerous units and responses to civil disturbances at Milwaukee Police. He's responsible for the Milwaukee Police Department's accreditation, which essentially indicates to the world that the department is aligned with the best practices and laws and rules. He's a graduate of the FBI National Academy. And my hope is to hire Paul as a detective. Detective Polka has indicated her desire to leave in the next few months. And I think a detective would help us out with our open cases and to try to get accredited. We've been picking away at our core accreditation effort for a few years now, and I think Mr. Felician would help us seal the deal on that. So I would recommend that we hire him as a detective.
Excellent, thank you. So the Finance and Personnel Committee had an opportunity already to have some discussions with Mr. Felician. Would anybody from the board like to present any questions or comments to the candidate? Mr. Felician, would you like to address the board at all?
Well, simply, thank you for the opportunity. thank you for your time and consideration of my application. Chief Bell, I've worked with Chief Bell in the past inside the Milwaukee Police Department as well as Lieutenant Schley. Our careers overlapped during our time there. As I stated before the Personnel and Finance Committee, I think it'll be a great opportunity to come and work here in Landon. I think I have a lot more to offer. I'm about to retire out of the military. So I come off of active duty on September 30th. And so I think this is a great way to continue my service to the community. As I mentioned to the Personnel and Finance Committee, I think Landon is appealing to me for a couple reasons. One, it's nearby. I live like merely 10 minutes away. And also two, it's a very healthy community. And I think one of the things that I expressed to the Personnel and Finance Committee is that in a smaller community, you actually have an opportunity to make a difference. And I think a police department that is run effectively or that is effectively serving its citizens in a smaller community can really help maintain the health of that community and just make change and make a better change for the better. So to be part of that would be something that would be good. So I do appreciate the opportunity once again. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So the Finance and Personnel Committee, I think pretty unanimously felt that we were very fortunate to have such a qualified candidate express interest in our community. His role would be more on a special project, an administrative type of role, and somewhat limited in the number of hours initially. But we're hoping that he can help us tighten up some things and wrap up a few loose ends and before he gets snatched away by somebody else. So we made a recommendation at the Finance and Personnel Committee to bring him to the board, and I would entertain a motion to recommend hiring Officer Felician.
Yeah, I will make that motion to accept the recommendation of the committee and of Chief Bell to accept Paul Felician as a new hire.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Are you gonna be able to handle coming to a small community from Milwaukee?
Sir, well, I think so.
Not in more classes.
But no, on a serious note, but more pointedly, I noted that you made note of the opioid epidemic, and that's something that is actually near and dear to my heart as well. So of having directed the counter drug program for the last 6 years, I supply military resources, namely intelligence analysts, to narcotics task forces throughout the state. And the idea that that cannot reach into a small community and create wreckage is it's devastating to our country. It's devastating to our state. There are more, not to belabor the point, but it is the single leading cause of death for young Americans in the United States. It's the single leading cause of death here in the state of Wisconsin outside of all-cause natural death. So that it came here and touched your community to be part of something to prevent that is also valuable.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome and thank you again for considering us. Look forward to seeing you as soon as you get done with the military.
Probably see me October 1st. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discussion and possible action on operator license applications. We had a few in the packet here and then a late ad, I believe.
There was two photos.
Yeah, I guess one in the packet and one late ad. Right?
Yeah.
Looks like the chief is okay. Both of these fees are paid. Anybody care to make a motion or?
I will make a motion that we accept the license to serve fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors as submitted by Emily Dodes. I would also accept, the cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping devices, that Justin Kaputsa.
That's the next.
That's the
Oh,
next.
oh, it's a different item. Okay, never mind. So we
Just
just
the
have the
two.
one, for the alcohol license.
No,
No,
one of
Jacob Zabinski.
Thank you. Also amended into my, motion is the acceptance for the, license to serve fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors for Jacob Zablinski.
I will second.
Motion and a second to accept and approve the two applications. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, discussion and possible action on approval of a cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device application for A&J's Liquor at 20316 West Main Street, Suite 106, Land, Wisconsin 53046. Now you're up.
I make a motion to accept the cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device, applications, submitted by Justin Kaputsa and AJ's Liquor.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 13, discussion and possible action on approving ordinance amendment regulating non-conforming uses, structures, and lots. This is something we've kind of gone back and forth on a little bit here, and it's been pretty well explained, I think, and this is just the final form,
Right.
correct?
Yes, the reason why it's before the board is that the last time this was on the agenda, it was listed for just the holding of a hearing. But previous to that, the legislative committee recommended to the board. The board heard no opposition during the hearing, but it was necessary to publish it because it is an ordinance that affects zoning, which requires class 2 publication, which has been completed. I recommend that the board adopt this amendment to bring up to date the provisions with regards to the non-conforming structures in the village.
Thank you. Mr. Willard, did you have anything to add to this one? Or?
I do not,
Oh,
but I will make a motion that we adopt the ordinance change to section 78-55 of the Code of Ordinance of the Village of Atlanta.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Do we need to have a public hearing for this?
We did it.
Oh, we did that. Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, discussion of possible action on contract for assessors revaluation services. So again, this was another one that we looked at previously. I believe council has made some edits to the proposed agreement. And rather extensive edits.
Well, first of all, I was puzzled as to why a firm out of Georgia was going to be doing the assessment work for the village. I have learned that the previous assessor, Rhoda, and Associates, basically sold their, if you will, book of business to this company. And what I have done is brought back to you the changes for your review before submitting them to the corporate offices so that you are comfortable with the changes. Let me just walk you through very quickly what those changes are. In trying to do research on this company, apparently this is one of the various fields where they do work for clients. Their work is not limited to just municipal or governmental entities. Although this document does not specify who is going to be doing the work, we learned from our clerk that the intent is to have the same basic personnel that had previously serviced the village. But
as you all know, whenever there's a transition or acquisition, there's a different perspective on staffing and qualifications and so forth. So to protect the village, on the second page, I have added the range of tasks to be performed, which include, well, assessing all the properties within the village, updating all existing records as needed, and involving the correction of legal descriptions where needed, possibly providing mapping services if needed, and including public relations work in conjunction with whatever type of assessment is to be conducted, and showing to the village proof of a type and amount of insurance that they carry. The document was silent on that, and indicating to the village the reports, the identity of those reports, and the date of delivery of reports under the Wisconsin statute. And the next paragraph is a critical one, which reads, assessors shall perform a full revaluation assessment if a full revaluation is needed under Wisconsin statute during the term of this agreement. Otherwise, exterior revaluation shall be performed. In Wisconsin, the statute provides that there needs to be thorough revaluation at least once every 10 years or more frequently if the assessed values are uneven within the community and dropping below 90% of the market level. They, in their quote here, did not distinguish between the type of evaluation or assessment that they would be doing. So this may prompt some reaction from them. We also require that they provide all staff needed to accomplish the described tasks, and that they provide certificates for all staff performing under the agreement no later than 30 days following the signing of this agreement in Wisconsin in order to participate in the assessment of a municipality's properties. There are 5 different categories of certificates that individuals can obtain depending on their level of advancement and also the challenge associated with the assessment. The highest being commercial evaluations versus residential evaluations. Dropping down to the general agreements on page 2, article 3, subsection 1, the agreement covered the assessment years commencing January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2028. And I've added a provision that says that in the event that the assessor elects to not renew this agreement, it has to notify the village in writing of its intent not to renew same no later than March 1st, 2028. And the reason for that is that it is difficult to identify a capable, affordable assessment firm. And I've added language to the effect that if they do not notify the village, the agreement would be automatically extended on the same terms for another year at the option of the village. With regards to page 3, and we talked about this briefly when this first came up, the records. I've added the following. The assessor, they say, will provide its own equipment, workspace storage, and security of records Previously, Grota and Associates operated out of, may still be operating out of an office in Menominee Falls. I added the following, however, all records pertaining to any work under this agreement or records obtained by assessor from the previous entity performing the assessment services for the village are and shall remain the records of the village. An electronic copy of such records shall be provided to the village at the commencement of the term of this agreement and regularly updated at the time of the quarterly payments under this agreement. The location of the original record shall be reported to the village clerk in writing at the signing of this agreement and updated quarterly. We, to my knowledge, were not given any specifics about the records. I think we're assuming that the records may still be in Menominee Falls if their office is still open. But have we heard anything in that regard?
No, they're still there. They actually have the records available on the website if you go in and you can search and I believe they used to have a search, where you could request your records, if you needed something about your house or whatever on there. They have a website and they have all the electronic records.
And they have all the specific card information that available to anyone who,
I believe so. I believe there's something on the website. I haven't been on there in a couple of years, but I mean.
yeah,
Just because
I think we should
communicate with
look
them
at that
by
because
email.
my concern was that here, this larger firm bought out this other operation. They may be consolidating the information out of state or at some data.
They obtained them a couple of years ago. It's been a few years already, so we've been maintaining how we have been, but they're very good at providing the board the role and stuff for board of review and all of that electronically to us. So I assume they have the same records, their same database system, so they have the whole database on there.
Okay. Thank you. And then I've added additional language in that same paragraph with regards to requiring them to provide general liability and records insurance to protect the village from liability and loss, damage, or destroyed records. It would be very costly for the village to reconstruct these records from scratch. The other changes are just to conform the language. This document is in the form of an order form, which is not the traditional contract, and the language on page 5 is intended to craft this in the form of a contract. I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
This reassessment is only for residential, correct?
I'm sorry,
This is for only residential properties, correct?
no,
No, this
Oh,
would
it
be
is for all
all.
properties.
all
Okay,
property.
good. That was one of my questions, because I
Yeah.
didn't see that it was all properties. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that website, Brenda, was that Rhoda appraisals?
It
Or
used
is
to be
it
on the
now?
Rhoda, but it's probably
Catalyst?
under Cas. Like I said, I haven't been on the website since they've taken it over, but I know Rhoda used to have that. It's basically, a lot of it is his program, the database that many assessors use, his software, basically.
Brenda, is Vitalis aware of the proposed changes to the agreement?
I have just
No.
got these tonight, so.
This is being brought to you for your approval.
Okay,
And the reason why I'm raising these questions is if I could direct you to page 5 and blue paragraph 8, which reads, entire agreement. This agreement constitutes the entire agreement between the parties and supersedes all prior or contemporaneous agreements, understandings, and representations. And technically, this is called a merger clause, and it's found in many contracts. But in plain English, what it says is, if you can't find the responsibility or the task within the four corners of this document. It never happened. And that's why, when we look back at what Rhoda and Associates used to do and so and Associates did for last year, this contract for this coming year is only going to obligate them and us to the extent that this contract mentions this. So if there is anything that I've overlooked, please bring it to my attention so that we can ask them. Otherwise, I would be asking if you approve the transmittal of this, that the clerk send me the contact information of the person or individual dealing with our contract, so I can communicate directly tomorrow.
So are you? Let me make sure I can clarify this. So are you operating, or did you approach this with the assumption that this was going to be the ongoing agreement that would dictate assessment services entirely in their full scope, or that this was just a separate one for the revaluation?
All of the assessment services for the next 3 years.
And is
And I-
that how they typically do these then? The revaluation just gets rolled into the normal
Yeah. into
thing
the
for a
normal-
period of
because Our
time?
last contract was 3 years, but there wasn't an evaluation in there, and now they're doing it with the reval.
Gotcha.
And they'll do it, and I can't remember if they're gonna do it in 26 or 27, but then they just roll the cost over the
Yep.
3-year term
Yep.
to
Okay.
make it more affordable
Yeah.
Which makes economic sense instead of
Yeah.
having a big hit.
than a big run.
But at the same time.
Yep.
The thing to keep in mind is if you fall below the state percentage.
Yep.
The state can come in. And do the assessment and charge us back the total cost to the village.
So that's the
That's
one
right.
concern that I will bring up that we discussed at the last meeting, is that we're currently at about a 76% assessment ratio. So we're well below that threshold and we're in danger. And their schedule is very full. So if we go back and forth too much and miss our window to get on the books with these folks, it might jeopardize our position
Sure.
as well, so.
Right, and that's why I've decided to present it to you. Because I have been at the tail end of the discussions with regards to this. And I did not want to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
But I think that the fact that they're quoting the village a fixed amount over a 3-year period is an equitable way to accomplish this.
Did anyone have any comments or thoughts based on Hector's description or explanation?
Well, I certainly appreciate the thoroughness of Hector's work, you
Yeah.
know, and I think it pretty much captures, you know, the best interest of the village and to protect the village. So.
I do as well. I think it'll be interesting to see what they say when we send it to them.
That's interesting because in just doing a little bit of research I did here, Catalyst is a much larger scope. They're a lot like Civic Plus in that they have multiple resources to help with the management and running of municipalities. So the assessment is just a small portion of it. It seems odd to me that their paperwork would not be wired a little bit more tightly for the scale of the way they present themselves as the scale that's much larger than that. So I'll be interested to see too. And Patrick, I'm sure you'll stay on top of this if they push back and it could threaten our timeline to get on the schedule. Of course, you know, we should have a conversation with them in order to explain to them why it's important that that Hector's comments be integrated or You know, don't let it sit there for another month.
I think if we send this back to them, for their feedback right away tomorrow, that gives us until the next meeting to go back and forth with some edits, possibly, with council and hopefully bring something that, is executable to the next meeting.
The other approach you may want to take, somewhat of an aggressive one, is to approve this draft if you're comfortable with it. So we can say to them, this is what the village board has approved, they want to do business with you. It's imperative that you not miss the calendar deadline. Give us a reason why you don't want these logical requests, which are predicated largely, well, they echo the language that the property assessment process guide for municipal officials that put out by the state of Wisconsin recommend. So there's nothing extraordinary here.
Right. That's another route we could go. Then we only have to bring it back if there's substantive changes or objections.
Okay, well, that being said, I'll make a motion that the assessment services agreement, edited by the village attorney, be approved by the board, for submission to Catalyst.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. Item number 15, discussion and possible actions regarding easement for Whispering Ridge Well House generator. I did get your email, I did skim through it, but I look forward to hearing your more
Okay.
detailed explanation.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, Patrick and I met with several folks from the Whispering Ridge Condo Association out on site to talk through specifically where this generator is gonna go, the need for an easement. We had been waiting on for a long time on a quote for a fence, which was something that the Condo Association had asked us to research. Fence pricing came back very, very high. It was north of $20,000. And so they agreed to meet us back out on site and kind of talk through some things some more. I will say that the two parties, I guess, agreed in concept to allow the village to move forward with placing the generator where it wants and to wait to make any landscaping screening decisions until the generator is actually installed and maybe as late as next spring, just so everyone can talk about the reality of what it's going to look like when it's there, as opposed to trying to have a mental picture of this. So I think there was mutual understanding of let's proceed with this. Strand in drafting up the easement documents, I actually asked our professional land surveyor to redraw the easements based off of the legal description in the recorded documents. There's actually, in the recorded documents, there is actually not a drawing of the easement, there's only a legal description. And what I had seen on past depictions of that easement led me to believe that the area in question was not part of the easement area, but we redrew it and it in fact is a part of the easement area already. And so I'm going to pass out this document that is just between Friday and this morning, what our surveyor drew up. And that's shown in the colored picture on the bottom. I apologize, I'm gonna be one copy short if a couple of you don't mind looking on. Here's two more and here's a couple for this end as they make their way through here. So On that colored version in the red is the permanent utility easement. And then the orange and the blue actually represent cross-access easements. So the historic understanding of this was that it's only there was an access easement kind of over that first parking stall in half of the entrance, and this actually shows that there's a cross-access easement over the entire width of the entrance, and that the permanent easement actually goes behind that first parking spot, which is exactly where we want to put the generator. I feel confident that what's drafted here is an accurate representation. I kind of went through this with our PLS on Friday, revisited it Monday, because I wanted to be pretty sure coming to this meeting. Nothing has been shared with the condo association yet, other than I handed Mike Janice a copy of what you all have up there before the meeting. This is absolutely a curveball for the condo association. It's good news for the board in that an easement is not needed. My opinion is that we can just go ahead and put the generator where we want it. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth or represent negotiations, but I do think it's still appropriate to revisit the need for any landscaping after this goes in. On Friday, I actually reviewed all of the recorded documents that we had available for the well house. And it includes a conditional use permit that the village operates the well house under. And it states that any landscaping changes are to go to the plan commission, just like any other institutional, commercial property, etc. So I believe it'd be appropriate to kind of follow those steps. And I think, and I haven't even discussed this with Patrick, this is just my opinion, that would be kind of a way to honor what I feel like was kind of discussed in concept out there on site a couple weeks ago. Had you asked me on Friday morning, I would have been asking you for approval to move ahead, trying to obtain an easement, but again, now I'm confident that we don't need that easement. So I don't believe that any action is needed at this time. Subjects to maybe Patrick or Hector, your opinion, if you want to just take some action to affirm putting the generator where we want and to revisit a conversation on the landscaping at a plan commission meeting after the generator is installed. The village has already approved the change order for the contractor to place the generator here. And talking with the contractor, they would intend to mobilize the concrete work as soon as the week of September 22nd. What's kind of scattered at the top of that are just screen snips of the various recorded documents. This kind of at least visual proof that, hey, these are the recorded documents that the imagery below is drafted off of.
Well, I think you've laid this out pretty well. And I think your recommendation to, handle the screening and things like that through the plan commission seems appropriate to me as well. Hector, do you feel that we need any kind of action on this, or is the minutes adequate?
Well, before I answer that, I would ask, with your permission, whether there's a representative of the association here who can respond to what Ben has indicated so that the board has a full understanding.
Yeah. Mike, do you want to speak up?
Yeah.
El Presidente.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for that. we're in agreement where that is to go. I think the only thing that, we had discussed was the size of the mounting, or that thing's gonna be mounted on.
The pad that it's
The
gonna.
pad, yeah, and we wanted to make sure that it was gonna be, as minimal as possible.
And I will say, we've been trying to schedule a time at the contractor's request to come out and kind of mark it out on site.
Yeah.
And our intent is to still do that, so everyone can kind of get a feel before they start work, but can certainly keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that would be, again, we came to an agreement, as far as, the placement, and again, we're requesting that some, screening be put up so that, individuals that live in the association don't have to view this thing. But other than that, and I think we're in concept, the type of screening that we discussed, vegetation wise was, agreeable to both parties, so.
Well, that having been said, I have full confidence in the land surveyor's position as reflected in this exhibit. And I do not believe that the village board needs to take any action at this point in time, deferring the landscaping screening issue to the plan commission as previously required and agreed to in the field.
Just one point of clarification, you referred to a PLS, is that a professional land surveyor?
Correct. Yes.
I know everybody loves acronyms until you're talking to a bunch of people that don't know what they are.
Right.
LOL.
Okay,
Do we need
did
to
anybody have any comments or questions about it then?
Do we need to put anything in the minutes in a form of a motion that there is, for the screening, that this will be taken care of? I know Mike's been on a plan commission for years. That there's something in writing on that?
Well, it's our discussion will go in the minutes, and then it'll go on the agenda for the planning commission, and we'll have a formal
So there won't be
item on the
any,
planning commission meeting minute, yeah. it's agenda.
just to prevent that.
Nope, that's what Hector just laid out for us.
Is that agreeable to you, Mike?
Initially, when we were gonna have the, easement, I wanted something in writing that, you would have until June of next year to get something completed and that kind of thing, so.
Yeah.
But, I guess I'm gonna take you at your word.
Yeah, and we can, the planning commission, we can bring that up again too. I recommend that we do.
Right.
At the planning commission. We're on the same page, Mike.
Well, as a former resident.
Right?
Well, this is a thing where the village and the condo association need to work together to keep all parties satisfied.
Yep.
Well, that's
exactly.
right, it was agreeable to put that into the documentation of the easement, okay, prior to that, so. I feel confident, that the village will adhere to that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, item number 16, discussion of possible action on pay application number 1 for J Miller Electric for Whispering Ridge and SCADA upgrades.
So on item number 15, are we tabling it?
No, there was,
Just move it to.
Hector laid out that there
Yep.
was no need for action on
Okay.
item number 15.
If I may, on item number 16, Strand's internal project manager has signed off on this and approved this. Pay application amount was for $51,718.26, less 5% retainage for the actual payment amount of $49,132.35. Lien waivers were not submitted. The motion that I would request of the board is to approve this upon conditioned upon receiving the appropriate lien waivers.
I would forward a motion, I would forward a motion to accept pay application number 1 from J Miller Electric contingent upon receiving lien waivers in the amount of $49,132.35.
Question.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Yes, Hector.
Just a point of information, do you know when the warranty period started or will start with regard to this work?
It has not yet started. This represents approximately, well, I'm gonna guess 10% completion.
5%.
It's like a 500,000.
It's
9% on the schedule values.
Yeah, there you go.
So the warranty will not start until 100% of the work is completed.
It's substantial completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, discussion of possible action regarding final pay application for Custer Lane Lift Station to PTS Contractors Contract 1-2021. Some of you may recall some discussion with these folks. But I'll let Ben talk us through this. It looks like a much smaller final amount than what they had presented before.
Correct, certainly. So I want to welcome back former trustee Ron Nellis, who undoubtedly came back tonight to see the close of this long story.
Just to finish this one out.
And it wasn't because his wife kicked him out of the house.
Oh, no.
So the final payment amount is a mere $1,992.80. That amount is commensurate with the pump manufacturer's second visit out to do the startup and kind of training and sign off services. So the village took partial ownership of these pumps before the lift station was completed. So there was initial manufacturer's testing just to allow interim operations while the rest of the station was completed. This payment is for technically that final recertification, which was done at the village's request. And it's already part of an approved additional cost. The reason why this payment is not coming until now is we finally have the last item on the punch list was completing comments on the O&M manual. So we finally have that and are ready to close this out. This one also is missing the lien waivers, so I would ask for your approval of this final payment conditioned upon getting the lien waivers. And I do want to say that the warranty period has already expired on this contract. This one is kind of a long drawn out close up of some paperwork here.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion that payment request number 12 from PTS Contractors in the amount of $1,992.80 be approved for payment contingent upon receipt of any outstanding lien waivers for this project.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, discussion of possible approval of proposal for interceptor defect work. Where we're getting our money's worth out of you tonight, Ben.
Yes, and actually, trustee Batiste kind of teed this one up earlier in his comments. Vision Sewer, in completing their televising and cleaning of the interceptor, has found some other critical items that need attention here. They've provided a proposal quote based on anticipated time and expense for this in the total amount of $14,500. Plus all material debris disposal costs, so the amount will actually be more than that. Because this is interceptor, recall that it's split proportionally between all 4 communities. So Landon's share of this will be much less. I would put this in the category of while it's maybe a larger dollar item than we're used to seeing this, I put this in the category of maintenance work and would recommend that the village authorize this work to proceed.
Our share of these is 15% if
I believe
remember
it's less
correctly?
than 20, I don't know, I don't recall the exact percentage. It's Menominee Falls that kind of bears the largest percentage of that, followed by.
So if we authorize this, then we pay the full bill and we collect from them, or, am I authorizing just a percentage
We
of
pay
this?
No, we pay it and then I bill the communities every quarter.
Okay. Should I do a not to exceed on this since we have spoils to, haul? Or? Because it looks like we're at 14.5 plus material debris disposal, which is 125 per ton. And 275 per hour. But I don't know how many loads they're anticipating. It looks like there's multiple ways of, possibly addressing this.
Yeah, I don't have a good feel for what that's going to come out to in total. Usually when they're cleaning debris, it's not like you're gonna have dump trucks on.
grade.
Yeah, right.
The sewer fund is pretty flush too, so it's not like it's a cash flow issue to.
Mhm. I'm just more worried about how I word the motion, if I should put a dollar amount or should I leave it open-ended?
It could just
Leave
be
it open.
to accept the proposal as presented.
Yeah.
All right, well, I will make the motion to accept the Visu sewer proposal as presented for the leak sealing for
Intercept.
the interceptor.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 19, discussion and possible approval of seasonal rates for utility billing for the 3rd quarter. I assume,
So last
Brenda, you
year,
have something.
yeah, last year, we had gotten some requests from people who, watering their lawns and whatnot during the summer that, they get some of that discounted sewer because it's not all going into the system. So we did it last year for the 3rd quarter billing, and since that's coming up at the end of the month, I just wanted to verify. Are we still doing that? Is this gonna be, if we still wanted to do it or not? It seems to work out fine.
What was it last year? It was 15. I'm trying to recall.
I didn't look
But
at it.
what you did is you went back 3 quarters and then averaged and then.
It compared it to the previous quarter's usage. So if they used more water
Yeah,
than they did in the previous quarter, it discounted the sewer like 10% or something.
yeah, it was like 10 or 15 on that.
I think it seemed to work the last time, which was a miracle considering we were kind of stabbing in the dark.
We definitely got less calls, so.
Yeah, right. I would say that, if you're not finding any statistical or financial data that raises concerns with the
Many
process as it
communities
is.
do it. I know
Right.
Essex does it, I'm sure Menominee
Yeah.
Falls does it.
I mean, I think we're just doing what a lot of other
Right.
neighboring communities do, so. I would be in favor of continuing to. Do this, I suppose, until somebody. Brings up the issue and recommends that we don't.
Yeah, there's no adverse monetary effect on us. Yeah. I think it's a nice thing to do.
So, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have, somebody just ratify it with a motion though.
Okay, I will make a motion that, that Brenda applies the seasonal rate for utility billing for the third quarter, as was done in, last year's third quarter billing.
I will second.
Sounds good. Okay, motion a second, comments?
I would recommend also that a notation be made that this past quarter may not be representative of, the amount of precipitation, that we would expect.
Yeah, I would say people probably were definitely watering less this year.
Yeah, they still do it.
Yeah, I saw the day after that big flood, I saw the sprinklers spraying down here at Sewall. Okay,
On the timer.
It's on the timer.
On a timer.
all right, we had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 20, discussion and possible action on payment of the bills.
I will make a motion that we pay the bills as presented earlier by Brenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 21, engineers report.
Dan had mentioned earlier that, the torrential rains from a few weeks ago caused an overflow on the Landon Interceptor sewer. It's the first time that anyone can recall that, an overflow has happened on that. So, Sussex took the lead on responding to that, but just know, that proper paperwork was submitted to DNR. So we're kind of following protocols on that. As budget season's approaching, there are a handful of projects that have been talked about in concepts. That it'd be worth, board just discussing at some level beyond the stormwater management plan. We're taking that Bonnie Lane geotechnical report and turning that into a budget level cost opinion for the board's consideration. As far as the infrastructure goes, there's been talk about perhaps doing more inflow and infiltration reduction work or clear water reduction work on the interceptor as maintenance. And there may be other things as well, but what I could do as a start is put together a list of projects for consideration and perhaps discuss it with Dan and Patrick and see where the village would want to go from there.
Sounds good.
That's all I have.
Okay. Item 22, attorney's report.
I really have no separate report.
Excellent.
You're disappointed.
Well,
Item 23, a couple of my notes already got mentioned. I will say that, if anyone is interested, either from the board or from the public in attending it's an award and, pinning promotion ceremony for the Menominee Falls Fire Department. It was scheduled for October. It has been postponed to November 8th at 3 p.m. at the Lilly Fire Station. If you care to go and support the fire department in their celebration, so. Other than that,
November 8th, you said?
yes, November 8th at 3 p.m. Lilly Road. And that's all I have.
I make a motion to adjourn.
second.
We have a motion in a couple of seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? Didn't think so. We are adjourned.
After all this time. Thought you might like that.